Hello and welcome back to a new review for Sangatsu no Lion, Season 2, Episode 14. And boy, the first third or the first half of the episode, I was laughing so much. Seriously, if the show is going for the laughs, for comedy, it really knows what to do and how to do it, and it was hilarious. I was laughing out loud. I had a great time enjoying the shenanigans of the Shogi dude. And then we had the other two complaining that their posters didn't look as cool as the one for Souya and Kiriyama. Why? Well, because normally the Shogi Association is doing it, so basically it's just picture, print, info, that's it. But for the upcoming match between Kiriyama and Souya, the big boss of the Shogi world, he was going all out. He got a designer, and yeah, this looked really awesome. So the two of them, they were freaking out, and they were like, "How is this so cool?" And yeah, like I said, it was hilarious. But then we also got into a more of a serious type of story in the second half, towards the end. But before, we had a little bit of screen time of Kiriyama's former homeroom teacher, and Kiriyama told him that the bullying affair is over, and yet that he feels kind of bad because he couldn't do anything. And then when his teacher asked, "Well, did you say that to her?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "And what did she say?" Well, obviously the opposite, right? That you were of help. And Kiriyama was surprised, shocked that his teacher knew it, and he was like, "Well, I heard you talking about her a lot, and so I knew that she has a good head on her shoulders and that she realizes the feelings. And it's not about as much about the results." So yeah, obviously that worked, and this is basically just what we had in the last episode, with Hina denying that Rei wasn't of any help, that he wasn't very, very helpful to her. So great way to see it a second time from a different character, and I really hope that Rei will grow up in that sense and kinda learns to accept it. But then for the Shogi match, Rei traveled to the hotel. It was so spacious, and he wasn't sure how to feel about it because it was so huge and so fancy. So yeah, even his room, it was way too big to feel comfortable in it, which is totally relatable. I like smaller, comfy rooms. But yeah, when we had the evening program with Souya and Rei and the Q&A sessions, there we saw something that many have expected, myself included, and I'm not even surprised that I was kinda right about it. Because previously we saw Souya with the Shogi Hall dude, I totally forgot his name, and he was worrying about him, and he was certainly standing in the rain without an umbrella, whatever. And then often when you have these types of super genius in a way, usually there's something to it that, well, is kinda to compensate for them being the genius in that way. So Souya, the master shogi player, the kind of the genius on shogi. But aside that, man, he's really screwed up in his head. Not in a evil way, but more in a, how the hell is he able to live alone? If he is even living alone, we don't even know that, because we don't know anything about his private life. But seeing the shogi dude looking after him like he's a child, and we saw it happening in this episode. He was so absent-minded, he didn't realize what was going on, even his answers. This was just stuff that he would say. He maybe prepared it, maybe it was just playing this tape that he's always using for these situations. And Graham at first thought, well, he's really good at dealing with this, and then he saw it because one of the reporters asked him something and he answered, but what he answered didn't have anything to do with what was actually asked. And basically, maybe he didn't even hear what was asked, or he was so absent-minded that, okay, there's a question and here's the answer. Does it fit? No, who cares? So yeah, so we have this thing with him being really absent-minded. He's really focused on shogi. And, well, it's really the crazy thing about him. Well, yeah, he is that good at shogi, but from what we saw, it must be really tough to imagine him living alone or living a normal life as a human and not just as a machine. And even when the reporter wanted to ask another question, he was like, yeah, okay, thank you. And then he walked into the waitress, he got red wine on his suit, and then he answered something else. So he was saying something that was obviously an answer to probably a question. And this really gives you the feel about how disconnected he actually is to his surroundings. And every bigger impact being like he was talked to, the reporter asked him directly a question. It was basically like, okay, I have to answer. And then he walked into the waitress and it was like, okay, I have to answer. So yeah, really, really crazy, and they played it off really, really good. Damn. And then we had the next day, the start of the shogi match. Well, it didn't start yet, so Rei was sitting there, and then Souya walked into the room and sat across him. So yeah, all in all, a fantastic episode. And I'm really impressed how they did it with Souya, how to bring across his behavior, his personality, and also yeah, really, really strong mirror image of his shogi skills, because if he's that skilled at shogi, there's probably a lot of where he is really bad at, and well, what we saw, this is just crazy. But yeah, really, really like this episode, and I can't wait for the next one. So yeah, that's it for now. As always, thanks for watching. I hope I will see you guys next time as well. See ya!